Hey guys, today I've got a couple of interesting short stories. If you're interested, join me. Hey guys, had a couple of short stories you might be interested in. A number of years ago, I used to fly in the airlines, and I went for a job interview in the big city of Toronto. So I was all excited. I boarded the flight from my hometown and made the uneventful journey up to Toronto, and found myself wandering around in the lower ends of the terminal trying to find a ride to take me to my job interview. So I managed to flag down a fairly expensive, at the time I think it was like $55 or something, but today it'd be like $100, I'm sure, or more. The only thing available at the moment was a limo, so I took this limo to my destination, but it seemed to be the most roundabout. I'm pretty sure we were going in circles to add to the price. It was insane. But anyhow, we get to the destination, and I'm about to get out of the car and get my bag, and the guy goes, no, wait, you're at the wrong place. And there's no signage. There's like no signage at all. You can't tell what the businesses are. It's crazy. So I take his word for it. At the time, I didn't have a cell phone. So he gets back on the freeway. There's like 14 lanes of traffic or something crazy with concrete barriers and all this. He takes me about a mile or 2 miles maybe down the road, and the place looks fairly vacant. There's not many cars. And he said, "This is where you want to go." I said, "Really? There's nobody here?" Yeah, this is it. So I jumped out of the car. He speeds off, and it only takes me about 10 seconds to realize I'm stuck now. There's nobody at these businesses. The doors are all locked, and there's no way to even contact anyone. So here I am pulling my carry-on bag down the parking lot and onto the freeway, and the cars are doing like 130 kilometers an hour. There's like 14 lanes of traffic, and I'm walking alongside a concrete barrier, risking my life, hoping I'm not going to get smashed by a car. I'm walking for probably 5 minutes. At this point, I'm late for the interview by the time all this has gone past. All of a sudden, this black Mercedes, I think it was a Mercedes, it could have been a BMW, but anyhow, all tinted out windows, he pulls up beside me, and I'm thinking, oh great, I'm going to get mugged on the freeway, right? But no, the guy was friendly. He said, "Hey man, are you supposed to be on an interview or something?" I said, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, my friend said one of his interviewees hasn't shown up yet, and I saw you walking down the freeway, and I put two and two together." So I believed the guy. I jumped in the car. He took me to where the interview was, which was actually the original place that the cab driver had taken me. So absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, he takes me in. At this point, I'm like half an hour late for the interview, but they still do the interview. They're good enough to do it. And long story short, I get the job, so all ended well. Funny how things work out sometimes. It's like you wouldn't believe that something like that could happen in such a big city, but it did. Another story I had that had to do with that job, I believe. Let me think. Yes, it did. I had been flying with them for quite a while, and it was a wintry day, but in a coastal area, the winter, when you're flying all different hours. The weather can be pretty nasty. Precipitation, rain, freezing rain, snowing, what have you. And on this night, it was dark out, and we were out on the ramp. We were running our system checks and such, running through the checklists. Everything seemed normal, and we're going through a standard procedure of being de-iced. For anybody who doesn't know, they de-ice to remove contamination from the critical surfaces of the airplane, such as the wings and the tail surfaces and such. If you don't do this, you end up with a rough surface, and it makes the airflow turbulent, and that's not what you want for a smooth flight. You won't be able to maintain flight in that configuration. So they spray us down with glycol, and that removes all of that. It's hot glycol, so it melts everything off, and you're ready to go. Nothing seemed unordinary. The visibility was very poor. It was even hard to see the ground crew. It was snowing hard and such. So, yeah, so everything looked well there. And we went out to take off, lined up. Everything seemed normal in the takeoff. And at about 400 feet or so, we put the landing gear up. Started noticing that the plane was not climbing very well at all. So it was of immediate concern. So I was adding more power, and you've got to be really careful when you're doing that because you can over-torque the engines. So I kept adding power to the point where we almost weren't maintaining flight and we weren't climbing. We were sort of in a stuck configuration. We were pretty concerned. But we were confused as to what's going on. What would cause both engines to act this way at the same time? I think we switched fuel tanks or something very quickly. I can't remember now, but it was it must have been, I don't know, 16 or 17 years ago or something. Anyway, the condition cleared up with the engines, but if it had been good weather, we probably would have turned around and went back to the airport we took off from. But the weather had actually deteriorated to the point where we couldn't actually land. It was below our minimums for what we would need to be able to do approach to land there. So we carried on to our destination, which was only like might have been a 25-minute flight. But we were glad to get there without anything else happening. So the maintenance and there's engine analytics that are assessed too, but the maintenance crew went over the plane. It was determined that glycol, the de-icing fluid, had been ingested into the engines, and it didn't really affect anything noticeably until we were probably 400 feet off the ground, and may have lasted to, 1,500 feet or something, but it was quite alarming at the time. But anyhow, we managed to make it safe and sound. I guess that's what really matters. Everybody made it home safe, so. Yeah, so that's the end of those two stories. If you guys like this sort of content, you enjoy the story, feel free to drop a comment and join me on the journey. You can subscribe if you want to, and we'll catch you in the next one.